Hey there, I'm estate planning attorney Paul Rabelais, and in this video, I'm going to share my organic marketing journey as an estate planning lawyer. So over the 30 or so years that I've been in practice for myself, I did everything I could do to get clients. I conducted hundreds, maybe thousands of seminars. I wrote a book. I networked with financial advisors and other referral sources, did some email marketing. But what has helped me the most, and quite frankly, what I've enjoyed the most, is what I've done in the last several years, and that's growing my social media presence the right way for free, primarily using YouTube. So if you are an estate planning attorney who's maybe a little bit frustrated at chasing down clients, maybe you're even spending some money on ads that don't convert, maybe you feel like attracting and retaining clients is just this big giant mystery. Let me at least share my story of how I've grown to having 300,000 YouTube subscribers, which has allowed me to attract the right clients and have a practice that supports the lifestyle that I envision for myself. So before I use this organic marketing, by the way, organic marketing is marketing that you don't have to pay anything for. Before I got into this organic marketing, I did a lot of seminars, and I'll never do another seminar in my life. You know, you spend money to get people there. Sometimes you feed them. Sometimes you deal with people looking for something for free. You've got no-show rates. You could only speak to one room at a time. You were bound by geography, and some attendees saw it as this free pitch session rather than a value-driven experience. So in 2016, I kind of on a whim, I just started a YouTube channel, and my first videos were awful. You can even go check them out. But the reason I made the videos wasn't because I wanted to have this big social media presence. I made the videos because, quite frankly, I was just tired as an estate planning attorney of answering the same questions over and over again. So I would make videos, and if somebody emailed me a question or asked me a question, or if somebody maybe asked a paralegal a question, then we could rely on these videos, just send the link to the client, and it would save us 5 or 10 minutes from having to answer the same questions over and over again. You know, if you're an estate planning attorney, or if you want to be an estate planning attorney, you're going to get the same questions over and over again. Questions like, you know, what's the difference between a will and a trust? What's a power of attorney? What's a durable power of attorney? What's the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? Will my estate owe taxes when I die? So I made videos like that, just answering frequently asked questions. And after a year, I went back and checked the history. After 1 year of having that channel, I had a whopping 7 subscribers. But then a few good things started to happen. People would contact me and say, Paul, the reason I contacted you is because I've been watching some of your videos, and I feel like I know you, and you explain things in easy to understand terms. And essentially they were saying, Paul, I want you to be the person that I work with to provide these estate planning services because of what you did on YouTube. So I kind of said, now I think I'm onto something here. What I like the most is there was zero cost to doing this. And quite frankly, I was getting people to know, like, and trust me, which if you've ever been in sales, which you are as an estate planning attorney, kind of the key to attracting and retaining clients is getting people to know, like, and trust you, even if you're an estate planning attorney. And that was happening as a result of these videos. And so I kept marginally improving what I was doing just kind of by doing it. So I learned how to, you know, use my iPhone for camera, and how to use audio the right way, how to, you know, deal with lighting issues. I learned what topics were best to address on a YouTube videos. I learned how to format those videos, learned a little bit about creating a title and the thumbnail images, all those things that you need to do to keep making your YouTube videos better. I learned a lot just by doing it. But really the key was just simply providing value in those videos, taking what can be complicated topics and making them easy to understand. And quite frankly, the key to selling my services was not being salesy. Don't get on a video and say, call me and give you my phone number. That didn't do any good. It was, it was just providing value. So that's all I did. And it started to snowball. And I remember a 3-day weekend back in April of 2021. My wife, Amy, and I, we were traveling on the road out of state to go visit our daughter at her college. And I remember checking the statistics on my iPhone for my YouTube channel. And I was like, Amy, we've been gone for 3 days, but do you realize that just the revenue that YouTube is paying me because people watched my videos, the revenue just for the last 3 days of videos being watched was over $6,000. And I said, Amy, during that same 3-day period, my channel grew by more than 13,000 subscribers. And I realized $6,000 isn't life-changing money, but it certainly paid for our trip. And oh, by the way, during those travels, we were driving on the road. I had a phone call with a gentleman who had just sold his business for $50+ million. He lived in a state very far from me. And he was insisting that I help him get his estate legal affairs in order. And I remember asking his wife, I'm like, why me? And his wife was like, Paul, that's how my husband is. He learned a lot from you, and he insists on using nobody but you to help him get his estate legal affairs in order. So a little bit of inconvenience. I had to get a co-counsel involved in that state, but that was some of the results that I achieved as a result of systematically building out my YouTube channel and my social media presence. So at that point, I rearranged my business, and I don't necessarily suggest that you aspiring estate planning attorneys all do this, but I did at the time because I was getting so many requests from all over the country. I rearranged my business to be able to serve clients nationally by having co-counsel attorneys in the different states help, and so we set all that up. But I still today use this system where prospective clients can provide an online request for a meeting with me. We can screen them by the online information that they provide in their request. And then we have an online calendaring system to really make the screening of prospective clients and the setting up of kind of Zoom calls and video meetings. I still use that today, and that's just really been awesome. It's enabled me to have a really virtual practice. I do all my work from home, so I really enjoy that. But I did make a bunch of mistakes along the way, but the good stuff that I did is certainly repeatable. And I know I can help other attorneys by creating training materials and providing a community of like-minded attorneys all kind of working towards the same goal here. So what I would ask is just, check in the description. I'm going to be providing some free material to help you get started, and we'll see you on the next video.